runway now, you'll be departing via Lynch, standby departure.
Within the heart of South East lies Gatwick Diamond. Young Startup Talent is an initiative to help and inspire 16 to 25-year-olds to start their business. From July 2016, Young Startup Talent has been searching the area to find the most feasible ideas to compete for this year's prize fund. The South East area has revealed a wealth of entrepreneurial young talent. Welcome to the final of the Young Startup Talent South East 2018. Every year, a set of young entrepreneurs submit their business concepts to see if they have what it takes to win over the local business community and be in with a chance to walk away with the Young Startup Talent Prize Fund. This year, a team of leading business professionals gathered to find the young business talent in the area, in a bid to whittle down the South East's finest entrepreneurs down to its very best. With the success of past Young Startup Talent winners and finalists rapidly flourishing among the business world of the South East and beyond over the past 7 years since its inception, this year is no different. Who knows their business inside out? Who can face the judges under pressure? And who has what it takes to be the next big thing? After visiting schools, colleges and universities within the area, the successful applicants attended the Young Startup Talent Speed Networking event at Basepoint Business Centre in Crawley. The evening was set out to put the young entrepreneurs, all aged between 16 to 25, through their paces. In attendance were judges and sponsors from the local area who were keen to see the range of ideas to enter the process. Following on from the speed networking, 5 have been selected and are about to pitch in front of the South East judges at the offices of Thales in Manor Royal. Making up the panel for 2018 includes Daryl Gayler, Managing Director, South Region, NatWest. Daryl has worked in banking for over 25 years and heads up the corporate lending business in the south of England for NatWest. Walsh, Partner at Grant Thornton Accountant. Ellen's priority is to provide high quality audit and advisory services to dynamic organisations in the mid-corporate market. Matt Turner, CEO, Creative Pod Group. Matt is not only one of the co-founders of Young Startup Talent, but also CEO of his own group of companies. David Kickham, Operations Director at Thales Group. Dave Kickham joined Thales in 1986 as a software engineer and focused on ground-based and airborne radar and electronic warfare systems. Lorraine Nugent, Managing Director, Young Startup Talent and PR Specialist at Wildwood PR. Harriett Douglas, Miilkshake. Miilkshake is a multi-platform publication and community for young female creatives from all sectors of the arts industries. It will consist of a website as well as a magazine accompaniment. They will share the same values and themes of content, featuring work from a variety of young female creatives from across all sectors of the arts industry. They will also feature content such as interviews with women successful in their chosen profession, advice on how to pursue and achieve your goals, and ambitions on how to know your worth.
So my name's Harriett. I'm the founder of Miilkshake, which is a multi-platform publication for young women in the creative industries. The purpose of Miilkshake is we curate young women from across social media who are in the arts, so whether that's animation, drawing, illustration, acting, filmography, anything like that, and put them on our database, on our website. The point of the website is not only to showcase these individuals, but also to serve as sort of a guide for young women as well. So it will have information on marketing yourself, information. The website would be run on advertising. Primarily is the main way I'd like to make money through it. For advertising and creative brand awareness of Miilkshake, I would use social media advertising. So for example, Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, they have targeted ads that you can create. So for as little as £20, for example, you can access 12,000 people who have been very specifically selected for your audience. So I could choose, I want people from 18 to 24, and I want them to be based in this area. I want them to be interested in these things. You can target very specific people, and for X amount of money, you can guarantee that amount of page clicks, page views, or audience having seen your advert. I'd like to think in 5 years' time that it would be a profitable company, and that would be well known within the creative industries, hopefully have a team, and ultimately I would like to publish a magazine as well alongside the website. With my idea, with Miilkshake, it all relies on the audience and how many people are viewing my content, how many people are interacting with it. So in terms of profits, I've been sort of placing on how many people I think are going to be viewing that content in that time. And in the first year, I believe that it's all going to be down to sort of odd clicks from advertising and things like that, and people who have followed myself and the people who I'm going to be working with on their social media channels.
Your income seems to be from advertising revenue, but your expenditure seems to be advertising you're paying for to encourage the rest. So it just feels like it's on advertising both. So I just wonder, given the value add or the uniqueness around the website is going to be the content, is there a revenue model, or is there an opportunity to capture some income or some revenue from the people that are posting their work? Effectively, you're providing a fantastic shop window for them, aren't you? So, you know, is there a way to monetize the fact that they're going to be putting their work on your
Well, there's
website?
also the chance of sponsored posts and affiliate links, which I would link in there as well. So say if I was paid by a company to have their product featured, I would then bring in a writer or a artist of some description to come in and create the post. So therefore, you know, their work's being featured on there, and then we'd both take a cut of the money from that, with the brand having approached my website and then me then finding, you know, a designer of some sort, someone to match their description. So there would be an extent that as well.
I think you've got a really nice business. I think you've got a terrible model in terms of financial. I think it's
my weakest point,
and this business could be really, really profitable really, really quickly. This is a bee in a honeypot type business. The only reason you're going to get the students come to the honey is because if you've got something there for them, i.e. to make them money. The only way they're going to come to the site is if there's really cool jobs at the sexiest agencies with the biggest brands. Advertising, especially with the millennial audience, just doesn't work. Advertising is for old white men in their 60s, in their suits, and that's all they know. You've got to revolutionise what you're trying to do, and it's not for advertising.
I appreciate that you have to have an audience for the website for people to want to buy the magazine. That's usually when a magazine will flop, if you just throw it out into the world and people don't know anything about it. Nowadays, you get lots of websites who are then bringing out zines or small little publications and things that go along with them, and you can just buy them online.
I know when we first met, I think the model was more around producing almost like a catalogue.
It's more of a catalogue than
an annual summary or something.
Or even a quarterly booklet. But I think that has more appeal, whereby people can either view your customers, their work, either online digitally or by way of a publication. But I would stay clear.
Because what you've got is really quite special, and it can be monetised, but not with what's on this piece of paper.
There are things that I've been realising throughout this process that I'm going to need sort of more of a team, more people's eyes and ears and things on it. And I've got people at university who are on my course, on other courses, who have expressed interest in being involved from all different elements of the university. So I think sort of, you know, regardless of what happens in this process, I'm sort of trying to build a sort of team to make this happen properly.
Okay, all right, thanks for doing it.
Thanks,
thank you very much. Thank you.
Matthew Pritchard, MPower. Matthew's aim is to make fashion inclusive for people of all abilities by attempting to create designs that can be implemented into mainstream fashion and through creating some designs of his own. Matthew feels that this is important as fashion can help with empowerment and has potentially wider effects in helping people deal with mental health issues such as depression. However, to start with, he plans to open a business that alters clothes for disabled people and those who want more independence.
My name is Matthew Pritchard and I'm the founder of MPower. When I was looking to try and alter clothes for my personal disability, I felt there was not much out there that could cater to my specific needs. So with that in mind, I came up with MPower. What I aim to do with MPower is alter clothes for every single disabled person so that they've got an opportunity to buy the clothes they want and not have to settle for cheap quality clothing from on the internet. So with marketing, I'd look to try and market my product in different hospital surgeries, try and take advantage of my contacts at doctors and hospitals. I'd also look to advertise in leisure centres and colleges, as that's where a lot of my customer base would be. And also social media and digital marketing. I plan to be very active on Instagram and Twitter, as again a lot of my younger audience would use this. And financially, it's quite simple setup, I think, because the main things I need are a website and a network of seamstresses, and to build up some contacts which will help increase the revenue.
Can you talk us through the typical modifications that you've made? So obviously you talked about the Velcro, you replaced the buttons, which is kind of a simple change, isn't it? But it's kind of effective. What other kind of alterations would you ordinarily expect to make?
Well, the ones I've researched so far involve changing things out so it's zip, so it can be altered anywhere and made into zip. So you could even have the zip on here which could zip up and make it easier to get off. I've looked at using magnets sort of in a similar way to Velcro, and I found a website that does magnetic poppers, and they are currently a service, but I think you might be able to purchase them for yourself.
But what's stopping the seamstress then going direct to them next time, if you like?
Well, or the other way around, actually the customer, once they know who the seamstress is, kind of cutting out the middle person, you?
Yeah. Hope so, like try and get them under contract. I don't know how contracts work fully, but
it's very difficult to get a member of the public under contract.
Yeah,
and the
not
seamstresses.
just a member, but the seamstress.
In my head, I've got this vision of the Shreddies advert. You know, this sort of warehouse full of nanas. You know.
Well, you know, you joke at it, but I think that is your target seamstress market. It's not like an industrial tailor. It's partially retired, elderly ladies, elderly men that enjoy doing it and want the social interaction. £10 sounds like quite a good rent to me for them, like that kind of. So you know, I suspect they wouldn't be the kind of people out of their values and behaviours that would suddenly they think, oh, I've got an opportunity to cut out Matthew and go straight to the customer. I suspect that might be less of a concern if you choose your seamstresses correctly. You build up a bit of a relationship and a rapport with them.
When you show it to us, it looks so obvious. Like, why has somebody not thought about that? That's right. But I guess people just haven't paid enough attention to the needs and requirements of those customers. Yeah, it's clever.
I think you could easily grow this business from a standing start without much cost, just by putting some adverts on social media to try and attract some seamstresses. Go and speak to them and talk to them and understand what kind of information they would need to feel comfortable making the alterations. Go and speak to some friends that you know might be in a similar situation yourself that would need this kind of service, and understand what they'd be prepared to pay to have alterations made, and then find out what looks like a sensible price. And if you just take a small cut in the middle, being that logistics person, or for helping making the introductions,
you do all right.
And you know, once you drive the volume through that, the money should come through quite quickly. But you know, it's a nice business to have.
I'd buddy up with a few charities as well.
I was
and let them do the donkey work for you. They'll love to promote you.
You see the description of the alteration as difficult, because they're going to be doing it remotely. So how do they describe what they actually want altered?
So I think what I'd do is I'd have a set list on the website. They can look through that, and then on the same website they can fill out a form with what alteration they want, and I can send that form off to the seamstress, and with the product that they sent to us, and they'll know what to do.
I think it's got lots and lots of attractions. Because it's got the whole ethical and valuable element to it as well.
Okay, all right, thank you, Matthew.
Banji, Student Inspire Network. Student Inspire Network is a millennial platform that educates, motivates and inspires students to start thinking about careers. They are bringing careers information to social media on platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat and LinkedIn. They create millennial-focused content for the social consumer. Student Inspire Network create, design and deliver millennial-focused video careers, content that allows corporates to maximise their student reach and showcase careers in a dynamic, student-friendly manner.
My name is Banji, and I'm the founder of the Millennial Careers Platform Student Inspire Network. One thing I've realised is that young people really want to pursue fulfilling careers, but they don't know where to find information that's related to them. They have no idea where to look for this careers information. The problem wasn't the students, it was the careers information. You see, for so long, careers information was always hidden in blogs, in articles, in forums that were so far-fetched from the millennial generation that we exist in. So I thought, why not bring this hard-to-reach careers information to millennial platforms? So I borrowed a camera from a friend, and I borrowed my dad's old stand, and I got to work. Within a few months, we had over 55,000 students tuned into Student Inspire Network every single month. Our business model is fairly simple. We act as number one, a content creator, and number two, a powerful distribution network capable of reaching over 55,000 students across the country. Now, from all our research and all our data that we've collected over the last few months, we found that over 75% of university students don't really know what they want to do, and managed to convince an investor to invest £50,000 of his own money into my idea. My name is Banji. I'm the founder of Student Inspire Network. Thank you for listening, and I'll now open up the floor to any questions.
Just interested in your investors. So for £50,000, how much equity did that investor take?
So they actually gave me an offer. I think I should have made that clear. They offered me £50,000 equity investment for a 20% sort of stake in Student Inspire Network. And as well as that, they offered to introduce me to 30 of their own clients, which should, based on our sales, will generate an additional £60,000 in revenue. The reason why he's so attractive to myself is when I look at investment, I'm not just looking at the monetary element of it. He runs a massive recruitment company. He runs a £20 million business, and he's been in the industry for over 20 years. What I'm looking for is the advice, the support that he can provide me, and the ushering that he can actually help me to get my business from here, and through his knowledge and expertise, I can hopefully be here.
I agree. That's why I think £50,000 is an unbelievably generous offer on his part. If he had offered you £5,000, he could have made that same argument to you.
That's right.
That I'm actually bringing a huge amount of knowledge, contact base. I can introduce all the right, but £50,000, given where the business is, and all those other things, it's a huge
thumbs
offer.
off.
And he's given you the contacts. Did you say 30 contacts?
So it would take 2 to 3 hours to say yes, not 2 to 3 months.
That's right. I mean, he's willing to give me 30 clients, but for me, being 21-year-old's dropout, I mean, I've never had an offer like that before, and I wasn't sure if that was a good offer.
You're not a dropout.
No, you're not a dropout.
The way you presented, and the quality of the idea and where you visit, you are not a dropout. So don't start describing yourself.
You're an entrepreneur.
You've already moved beyond the university stage. You don't need to go at the end of a process to give you a little badge. You've kind of moved beyond that. So don't call yourself a dropout, because that does yourself down. You are very, very smart. You presented very, very well and very confidently. I just think you need a bit of help and guidance to kind of work out what looks like a good offer. I think it looks like a very, very good offer.
We're millennials. We're active consumers of this information, and we know what really works for us.
I totally get that. All I'm saying is, what's to stop them going out and recruiting some other millennials, of which there's obviously quite a few out there.
Yeah.
But I take your point. I take the point in terms of the whole idea about this is how you provide the content in a way in which it wants to be consumed by the people that need to consume it. And I think that is the uniqueness. But I'm sure some of the other bigger companies out there at the moment aren't doing that. But if this catches on and it grows some momentum, which undoubtedly it will, what's to stop them going out and doing something similar by going and attracting half a dozen millennials to do something similar? What's to stop them doing that?
That's a very good point. That kind of leads back into the investment side of things. One of the things that we hope to do is bringing things like sort of artificial intelligence on our website, where if you're watching the video as a student, we can really tailor video content to you, and then patent that technology, and that needs a lot of investment, which is why we've had the last month of just thinking, do we need this investment? Is that influx of investment going to give us that competitive edge? Because I think for the next 3-4 months, and sort of within the next 6 months, we have that competitive advantage, but it's the things that we're looking at, like the AI, the machine learning algorithms, the NLP technology that we hope to bring in with investment, that will give us that advantage.
I've got a question here, and I may have misunderstood this, but is part of the forward thinking of the business plan that actually there would be some kind of recruitment fee somewhere down the line with these employers?
That's correct. So what we hope to do is that for the first year we want to exist as a graduate attraction and engagement, which is just producing content which we put out on social platforms and students can actually understand more about a company through our social platforms. Stage 2, which is after the first year, if successful, stage 2 and 3 is actually getting these students that are now following us on social media and converting those into candidates for clients.
Yeah, you need some enlightened directors in those companies to make to recognise that.
But I think that's the challenge.
Yeah,
I think that's the point. I think it's
you're right.
We've got to be brave enough to recognise that that is how people want to receive the content. We don't, they don't want to see corporate videos and entrance lobbies and this kind of stuff. They just want a fly on the wall documentary of what life is really like working inside that business.
What we're doing is facilitating this new social candidate and allowing companies to be on board with how millennials consume careers information.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Joshua DeWitt, Green Carbon. Sustainable, zero-emission transportation will be critical over the next few years as we seek in finding ways of reducing our reliance on non-renewable and polluting fossil fuels for energy. However, current battery technology means today's electronic vehicles and consumer products are heavy, have a low range, take a long time to recharge, have short cycle lifespans whilst being hard to recycle, and made from rare, heavy and toxic materials.
So today I want to introduce Green Carbon, built to break convention. So sustainable zero-emission transportation will be critical over the next few years as we seek to reduce our reliance on polluting and non-sustainable fuels for energy. However, current battery technology today encompasses a variety of different limitations. So basically today's electric vehicles and consumer electronic components have a low range and duration respectively, take a long time to recharge, are heavy, are hard to recycle, have a very low shelf life, whilst are made from inabundant, heavy and toxic materials which have to be mined. My objective is to deliver sustainable energy storage systems which addresses all of these problems through the use of new and innovative battery architectures. So what is the key differential here? What makes Green Carbon different to all the other battery technologies on the market today? Well, as I mentioned, the key focus for me is sustainability. A lot of manufacturers today are making batteries with whatever materials they can in order to get their vehicles from A to B over X number of miles at a certain cost. So really this is a new part of the market which I want to penetrate and address because they really haven't thought about recyclability and where these materials come from, which imposes a lot of ethical problems in the world today. A lot of the research has been done already, which means the theoretical properties are there for us to achieve all of these objectives. We now need to build a working prototype to get this into practice and into its application. So basically the chosen materials and the way it's made display unique electrical, thermal and mechanical characteristics.
It's an interesting space at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I guess what our biggest concern, is you're one person at the moment, and I know you've got other people helping you. What's stopping bigger competitors that you've lifted on here get into this before you do?
Sure, that's a very good point. I'm just going to say this, I believe I've got the drive to get it done, but also corporations are very risk averse, so they'll take what's on the shelf, what's proven. With startups, the main advantage they've got is that they can adapt new processes, adapt to market changes a lot faster than a normal corporation. I'd say there's always research teams looking into it for sure. I think there's companies like Dyson and NGK who make spark plugs for big automotive companies. They're looking into solid state architectures, but no one from what I've seen is addressing the full scope, so using sustainable materials that are abundant.
But if you've got the whole battery integrated into the
chassis
car, that feels like, you can't just go and take a normal door off the shelf that you stock. You then got to go and send off and get a special version.
It's not like changing your battery in a smoke alarm,
you might have someone special to fit it. It just feels like the repair and maintenance might be slightly more expensive and slightly more convoluted.
Well, the good thing about this is it doesn't just have to be the chassis, that's an option.
The technology that you're proposing,
yep.
Talking about car batteries essentially, but this can apply to anything.
Exactly, you can apply it to industrial, domestic, aerospace, consumer electronics, even military applications if need be. There's basically endless possibilities.
How long do you think it would take to go from your prototype, which I just imagine is on the bench, just proof of concept, what I'm thinking, to something which is productionisable, which is normally quite a big process?
That's a very good and very tough question for me to answer. I'd say I can get this in an application within 4 to 5 years, let's just say. Production's another topic in itself, but once you've obviously got it in application, it's working. That's the main thing.
Do you think you're at that point? Is it ideas, or is there actually really at the heart of it a technological breakthrough that's contained in its pack?
I'm adamant that the concept itself will achieve those results, and it will take a lot of time and resources to get there. But obviously it needs substance, which...
And there's definitely nothing out there that's been patented similar into this kind of technology.
There's bits and pieces, but
nothing that's brought it all together.
I'm bringing everything together, so solid state architecture, sustainable construction. Because at the moment, people are looking at solid state architecture, Dyson as an example, but when it comes out, you're going to realise the materials it's made out of is the same as what you've got now. So no one's really thinking about, how do you recycle it when it comes to the end of its life? How do you mine these materials? There's a lot of ethical issues surrounding that area.
And they're in areas that are not very stable as well.
I mean, think Republic of Congo, places like that, which is where they're getting the cobalt to mine to build these lithium batteries. South America, lithium salt beds, stuff like that. You don't see it from the outside really. Whereas with my system, I'm in talks with a couple of suppliers who supply graphite to my university, and there's a high abundance of that stuff. It's readily available.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Interesting.
Samara and Merrissa Gidden. Haus of Flavour is an ingenious combined concept in consuming adult beverages paired with the novelty of a traditional ice lolly. Samara and Merrissa endeavour to produce a contemporary range of alcohol-infused products that are not only enticing by incorporating a myriad of robust flavours, but also causing consumers to fall in love with both the execution and delivery too. The complementary organic fruit, classic flavour combinations and elegant packaging ensures a gourmet appeal.
Good evening everybody, my name is Samara Gidden and this is my sister and business partner Merrissa Gidden, and together we're bringing you Haus of Flavour. So Haus of Flavour is an ingenious combined concept of consuming adult beverages paired with the traditional novelty of an ice lolly. Now we endeavour to produce alcohol-infused products which are not only inciting a myriad of flavours but also causing consumers to fall in love with both the execution and delivery too. Now our value proposition, so we are using high quality ingredients, organic fruit, it's low calories, it's vegan friendly, dairy free and also affordable too. Now in our initial range we have 3 decadent alcoholic flavours which are gin, tonic and elderflower, prosecco and strawberry daiquiri.
So in terms of private and corporate events, they are going to be canapé sizes, slightly smaller. We believe they'll work well for birthday parties, weddings, horse races, and nightclubs. We've got some sort of other variations as to how we can work the products into different extensions. So for nightclubs, we could go down the potential alcoholic slush route, and we just think there's many possibilities to this one product that we've started, but you know there are other kind of avenues that we can go down with it.
And just to touch on that point, so we're also developing a slightly smaller version into the individual lollies, which will be used for retail purposes. So we're thinking 2 of each flavour, so a multi-pack of 6 that can be stocked and people could buy them for their home and dinner parties and things like that as well. We also see another avenue in like hotels with the canapé version, so that could work really well as like a luxury treat or a buffet item. But just to sort of solidify that festivals is going to be our initial route to market, just because it gives us a really great opportunity to kind of gauge the appetite to market, get people engaging with the brand and us as people behind the brand as well, and we really want to sort of sell our story and our personality, and I think you know that's a great basis to sort of gauge people's responses and alter things if we need to as well.
How does it work from a retail perspective, having a product that's essentially aimed at children but isn't allowed for consumption for children?
Yeah.
How does that work in terms of packaging? Because and also like in a supermarket, all of the alcoholic beverages is all together in one area, but there isn't like a freezer in that area, or are you allowed to have frozen?
Yeah, so one
section?
of the competitors do a variation of alcoholic popsicles type of thing. Okay. Very sort of budget level, not very paid much attention to packaging or sort of the ingredients, but they do stock it in the normal freezer section amongst food. So there's no particular sort of separate section that it needs to be in. However, there is obviously a number of packaging and legal requirements that need to be met, both on the packaging and the box and just how we're marketing and advertising the product. So they're all things that we've sort of paid attention to and thought about, but they are still in progress in terms of obtaining the relevant licenses to distribute alcoholic goods, you know, all the health and safety licenses that go alongside that, but they're things that are on our radar.
So your manufacturing process, where does the manufacturing take place?
Initially we're looking to obtain the licenses to hand make them, so so we're going to distribute it for the first few festivals and create it ourselves. However, we have spoken to a manufacturer recently who is willing to manufacture the products. They've already worked with companies that have used alcohol as a base for ice rolls and ice creams, but we're in very early stages in talking to somebody, but we have thought about that, and that's definitely the angle we want to go down for a number of reasons, you know, things like quality control and ensuring everything's aligned and we're able to meet the demands of, you know, retailers and hotels of that sort of.
What about the logistics of, you know, their ice lollies?
No, the trike has a little battery.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
I
it
see.
keeps it's got a little fridge on the front, fridge on the front, and you have
But
spare
is that going to be
batteries.
big enough to store all the lollies you need over a 2 or 3 day period?
Yeah, so I think our initial plan is to kind of create enough for the festival, so it's going to be around the 1,500 mark, which can be contained within the freezer.
You know, each day, because it is over several days, we'd obviously don't go back again.
But what's stopping somebody else doing the slush though?
Doesn't matter, it's the brand. It's the brand.
Thank
It's
you.
all about the brand.
Well, the brand looks great. The
It's
flavour,
great brand.
that tasted fantastic. Have you got any others to try? We've got
We've still done the gin tonic.
Maybe we'll come back tomorrow.
You have this one, £5.
I do wonder if it's, in fact, I'm not even talking about making it cheaper, just making it slightly more stable, slightly longer shelf life, without making it too chemically, without making it, you know, taking away a lot of the organic. You still have organic, you still have lots of other good things in there. I just think your business, well, it's not going to attract the retailers. On the shelf life of that kind of thing, in a frozen product, it just will, you won't get it in the doors.
Like in answer to your question in terms of, you know, do you want to do it a bit more cheaper for the festivals? Are they really bothered about organic fruit? And I think we're really keen to portray the right image with the brand, and we don't want to have, you know, variations of the product itself in terms of the quality and the ingredients.
Because it looks like a premium product.
But,
but
why not when someone like Coca-Cola does? So Coca-Cola isn't the same flavour in every country. Some countries have more sugar, some countries have more carbon in it, depending on the palate of that country.
That's driven by palate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I think your time's up.
Well done, ladies.
Thank you very much.
As we draw closer to the end of a fantastic year within the South East, the judges must make the difficult decision of selecting just one entrepreneur who will walk away with the prize fund of business products and services. Young Startup Talent would like to thank all the sponsors and supporters for their support and look forward to working with the next set of entrepreneurs in 2019. All of those who have made it through the process have the support and business network to make their business a success. We look forward to keeping in contact and up to date with their progress as they grow throughout the year. To find out more about Young Startup Talent, the sponsors involved, and to follow the progress of the entrepreneurs past and present, visit youngstartuptalent.co.uk.